Help me, for someone like me, what are the top 3 things that I can do to improve my gut health?
And every 10 days I used to go and sit in the back.
Yeah.
Because it was not easy for me. The population, especially outside the country, not survive COVID so beautifully as what we survived. And the reason was...
You are an expert in probiotics. How do we understand quality of supplements?
Some days you get up in the morning, doctor, and you simply say that, the world is under my feet. Today you tell me what and I'll finish everything. Right? Food, what you are eating is the reason how your bacteria would increase in numbers.
Hi there, welcome to SheSight Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. CV, and here we dive into real stories of women who are making an impact, women who inspire, innovate, and lead change in their fields. SheSight is a platform that amplifies women's voices, celebrates their journeys, and builds a strong community of empowerment and growth. Before I welcome today's podcast guest, I'm so delighted to announce the launch of a newest initiative from SheSight Global, which is called the SheSpeakers.com. Women with extraordinary expertise are everywhere, but on most stages, they remain invisible. She Speakers changes that. A curated platform where brilliant women leaders, entrepreneurs, academics, and changemakers get discovered, listed, and booked for speaking opportunities they deserve. If you organize events, She Speakers is your go-to for voices that truly represent the world. And if you are a woman with a story and a stage to claim, this is your space. Find your speaker, claim your stage. Visit www.shespeakers.com today. Our guest today is someone who quite literally changed how the world stores and uses probiotics. Dr. SHRILAKSHMI DESIRAJU, known as Shri, is a PhD scientist, an MBA, and a deep tech entrepreneur who recently co-founded Probiota Innovations out of Mysuru, India. With a PhD in chemistry and nearly 2 decades of experience, she translates laboratory discoveries into scalable biotech ventures, global intellectual property, and policy frameworks that enable innovation. She's the co-founder of Probics LLP and Probiota Innovations, advancing evidence-based probiotic science for human and animal health. Earlier, as the co-founder of Triphase Pharmaceuticals, she pioneered cold chain-free probiotic technology, resulting in global patents across the US, Europe, and Canada, and a very successful venture exit. She serves as an independent director, has delivered a TEDx talk, and is now at the forefront of research connecting gut health to brain health, mood, and women's well-being. Shri is the kind of scientist who does not stay in the lab. She takes her discoveries all the way to the market, the policy table, and the public stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome Dr. SHRILAKSHMI DESIRAJU to the ShePower podcast series by SheSight magazine. Dr. Shri, we are so glad you're here today. Welcome, Dr. Shri. It's wonderful to meet you today in person. Let's get started with your origin story. I read about you and I was really fascinated to know that you actually left Canada to come back to India and build a biotech startup from Mysore. And I would say that's really bold and unconventional because most of us would be actually moving from India to Silicon Valley or some other place to start up, especially something like biotech. What was the turning point that made you say that I'm going to do this?
Thank you so much, Dr. Vandana. Absolute pleasure to be on this podcast and would look forward to some of these really, soul-searching questions, I must say. Being an Indian, obviously, there is an emotional connect. You always want to be there. But I lived in Canada for a good 16 years. And I was working as a scientist on Pfizer projects. So, everything was on the top tier. And then suddenly to say, okay, I want to go back to India. Well, it was a deeply personal and also purposeful decision. It was not some random decision that I picked up my bags and said, okay, enough of Canada, now going back to India. I came back to India, yes, in 2009, with a purpose that I would like to do something different. I have been one of those persons where until I have that next big goal, I'm very restless. So I did my PhD, I did my postdocs here in India, went off to Canada. Here also in India, I did my postdocs in both NCL Pune and as well as IISc Bangalore, and with one of the best of the professors. And then went off to Canada, fortunately landed myself in the right place, right time, I think so. There, the company called Neja Pharmaceutical was hiring for Pfizer projects, and I ended up working with one of the best scientists in the world. So until that point, yes, there were always those big goals, hey? And then suddenly after a few years, it became predictable because you knew you are going to go, you're going to again do the same thing, you're going to create another molecule and that molecule will actually be coming to the market, or whether that molecule will actually solve some problem, you didn't know that.
Yeah.
So in doing these things, I realized that I do understand the science, but I do not understand the applicability and why some molecules which were very good did not get up on the shelves as a product. While some molecules which I did not think great of them or did not have very fancy data about it, always did wonders on the shelves or on the market, right? So that aspect I think so was missing, and that's why I ended up doing MBA. I went to University School of Business, University of Alberta in Edmonton, and I did my MBA in a specialization called as technology commercialization. In fact, there's another story to it. When I went to do my MBA, the dean of the School of Business, I had to convince him as to after PhD, why do I want to do an MBA?
Yeah, even we need a convincing now.
So India, you generally tend to say, okay, fine, you will learn and you will skill yourself as and when required. So doing an MBA is something of a higher order than a PhD. But when you go to North America, or in fact, right now where you are, those people, they don't tend to understand as to why a higher degree is not good enough for you that you want to do another master's. Yeah. And I kept telling him for 3 hours to make him accept me as a student, because I had to make him see the point that, I want to understand how to do a commercialization of any technology. I don't understand that part. I'm not good at finance. I'm not good at marketing. I'm not good at HR. I don't know how to manage teams. So these are some things which are missing. And I think he read my bigger motive, saying that, oh, you want to become an entrepreneur. I did not know that I would become an entrepreneur. At that point, it was simple. I'm creating molecules in the lab because I'm a chemist and I'm a medicinal chemist. But then these molecules are not ending up on the shelves. So what is it that requires it to do? And that is when I ended up doing technology commercialization specialization in MBA. Very few universities or academia see that link between academia and industry. And once I did that, it helped me immensely, because as a scientist, I might not be doing gene splicing. I'm not a genetic engineer. I might not be ending up doing that, but I would know whom to go to and take help and get it done. But I think what I can bring on table is how to do this, how to do this gene splicing, but after the gene is spliced or any genetic engineering is done, how I can see an application. And that is where, even though I'm a trained chemist, actually medicinal chemist, I ended up into gut health space or in the microbiome space, which is hardcore microbiology. And I'm able to do that. So I think that is why coming to India was very purpose driven, because I wanted to see what is it takes to take it back to the market. Second thing was India, for some reason, we all have seen that, we are known for only the headcount or back office work or service oriented work. For some reason, there is a deep, even today, so there is a deep yearning in me that we should create some molecules. We should be able to bring some new products out there in the market. These were the two reasons, I think, so that drove me to India. And doing anything in India was much lesser expensive. Yeah. And that brought me back to India to say, hey, let me do this and see if it is possible.
Oh my God, what a wonderful story, Dr. Sri, because, I'm really fascinated by the fact that not every scientist that, we have like thousands and millions of scientists out there. They are very good at developing, as you said, it could be a molecule, it could be, something in theoretical physics. But when it comes to commercialization and translating it into a product or something impactful for the planet or the society, very few actually take that plunge. And looking again, the other thing which I'm really fascinated is that you decided that way ahead of time. Like maybe, I think you said 2009 is when you actually left Canada and came to India, which is almost like 15 years back. I would say you were definitely an outlier to take that kind of a decision. And especially women, most of the time, research, academia, I mean, your natural path or the easiest path was to get into university, be a professor or get into a research lab, continue making new molecules. You quit all of that and then you chose the hard path of entrepreneurship. So I'm really, really, hats off to you for that kind of a courage. Now, looking back, do you think, do you enjoy that decision? Did you really, I mean, it's 15 years now. Are you happy with that decision? Or do you think maybe something else could have been there? How do you feel right now?
Not a single day, not a single minute I regret it. I think what I did then was the best thing I did. When you become an entrepreneur, there's nobody to teach you. You learn it at a very high cost and you learn it yourself. Yeah. So the amount of learning or the amount of making decisions, the number of decisions that I have made, foreseeing something, there's always a leap of faith, to be truthful. Some things work, some things don't. But then that resilience, and unfortunately for me, I come from a family of academicians. Okay, so there's no business background at all. I can't go back and lean on somebody and say, hey, you know what to do now, where I'm getting stuck. And I got married into a family of scientists. To be truthful, every single minute, there is an adrenaline rush. There is a learning. There is a openness to finding out your true self, especially. Because being a lady, it is not that when you make a mistake, somebody else will hear to your song. Somebody else has to take the blame. You are there. If you have done good, there will be a applause and there will be a pat on your back. If you have done wrong decisions, well, the music is yours. So either way, definitely it has helped me to grow as a person. I really understood the meaning of the word called resilience. I really understood the meaning of the word called perseverance, whether it was for my first lab, whether I had to be, because I had raised money through debt funding. And in MBA jargon, it is called as perseverance, but you can call other words too. Literally from month of October till month of February, until the bank actually gave me that loan of 1 million rupees, which was collateral free, all on because I asked on my detailed project report. Until then, every 10 days, I used to go and sit in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was not easy for me to make them see the point. And they thought this lady had come from abroad and she has some fancy ideas. We don't understand anything. What are you talking about good bacteria? We only know bad bacteria. So what are you talking about, ma'am? And you want money and you want funding and you say you will not give me collateral. Hey, it doesn't work in India. Some of them told me that. This is the particular scheme which has been given by the government. Either give it to me in writing that my detailed project report is not good enough, or otherwise give this funding. And they would ask me, who is going to be, if something were to happen, if you fail, where do you think you will go? I said, nowhere. I'm going to do something and I'll pay. He told, okay, so who is going to stand with you as a partner? Your husband, your brother, father, father-in-law, any male person in the family? And I said,
male person.
They have no idea. They have no idea what I'm trying to do. I can't ask them to stand. If something were to go wrong, I'll face the music. I'm there to do that. I'm not going anywhere. It was very difficult, but some of the reforms which have come in from the government, I'm telling you, Dr. Vandana, has made our lives better. If you cannot do things now, you will never get these kind of opportunities ever, is what I have understood. The RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India in India, they came up with this rule that every branch of a bank is supposed to give this collateral-free loan to one woman entrepreneur and one SC/ST candidate. And that is where these guys got caught, because otherwise they had to give me in writing as to why my report was not good enough. And then they said, instead of that, she's pursuing for last 5 months. I'm telling you, some of those bank managers, they used to have impromptu meeting the moment they would see my face.
They were avoiding you.
But the days when you were
but then I understand that this was like 15 years back, and then the scheme, what you're referring to, is the CGT MSc.
CGT MSc, yeah.
And then from there, look at you now, like you have raised even Series A funding from Fortune 500 pharma company. So how do you help us through that journey of where you started and what was the original business that you started and how you quickly, reach the stage of obtaining huge funding and the growth journey, basically?
As I said, this is how I started. Finally, I got a loan from the bank and I started my lab, because for us, you would know that pharma, nutra, deep tech industries, you need to have a brick and mortar unit. It is not a IT business where 3 people, 4 computers, and you can make some money, big money. For us, we definitely need one lab to even dream whether we will be successful, let alone we have to be successful. But then each year, and this is something maybe for a few women entrepreneurs, it could be helpful, that unless asked, you don't get anything. This I learned in Canada, that if you don't ask, you will not get anything. And so that's why what happened was that I went back and each year, believe me, Vandana, I used to sit with that bank manager and say, hey, you know what? You have given me a loan which is collateral free. You don't have anything in your hand. I'm giving it back month on month as EMI. Yeah. Right? I'm being a nice person. Whatever you have given me, I'm being nice. I will be giving back to you. I'm not going to do anything wrong with this. So why don't you reduce my rate of interest? So from 14.4, I reduced. By the time my loan got over, it came to 9.2. Now, on a loan of 1 million rupees, if your interest rate was reduced by 0.25 also, it was big. Yeah. I saved that money. That money put back into the company. Yeah, somehow with one vision, with one single vision, because that was the market pain of probiotics, that you had to keep probiotics in the refrigerator. A simple example that I can give you, if you keep curd on the table, even today, it goes bad in 2 or 3 days, right? But the same yogurt or curd kept in the fridge stays for good 8 to 10 days. Yeah. So my logic was, that means these bacteria which are fermenting are temperature dependent. And same thing I figured out while with my research thing, that they are also pH dependent. They can't work very under a high pH, that is acidic pH. And same thing was with temperature. So I put a handcuff on my side and said, I'm not going to change it genetically. I'm not going to encapsulate it. I'm not going to put any cover onto this particular bacteria, but I need to make it to room temperature stability. That's where we had our focus, and we started our journey. And 6 years time, we created a natural gut bacteria, which was stable up to 200 degrees centigrade. Wow. Not just room temperature.
So that was your
And
major breakthrough. This was part of your early,
yeah,
once you came to India and in your lab, you developed this.
so I then started to look for how to raise funds, because by that time, before going for Series A funding, Vandana, I had actually completed this part of the research and had applied for patents. I filed my patents, because in biotech, that time we didn't understand this, but in biotech, patents are the only reason you will survive and you will be successful. Then there was a national competition of Economic Times Power of Ideas, and I had won it.
Wow.
We were 25 of us were invited to Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and we were groomed for getting investor ready. Is when I started to go and understand that how the investment is going to come, how it is to be brought in, how it is. And believe me, today, if I think about it, it still gives me shudders. This was my first company. This was my first thing. Yes, I had patent in my hand. Yes, everything was there, but still you had to make these products and sell in the market for somebody to put money behind you. And believe me, I had pitched to 180 investors.
Wow.
And it's not about that any of these 179 did not agree with me. It was not that these 179 did not want to put money behind me. But my requirement was huge. My requirement was, help me put a manufacturing unit, because scale up needs to be done now.
Correct.
I can't sell 2 grams and 10 grams. I have to sell bulk. And if I have to sell bulk, whether final as an FMCG product or B2C product, but before that B2B product, I needed huge investments. I needed an investment of 40 crores. And that nobody was willing to, because obviously, for all good reasons, they knew that I am just a new entrepreneur who has been successful enough to bring out because of the technical knowledge and technical inputs. But then when after 170 investors, when I spoke, I finally realized this is not how I should approach this problem. Let me find out who are the people who will be actually interested. And 4 or 5 investors, I put it aside and I went behind them and I tried to get meetings to tell them what is it I have in my hand. And somebody who is from the Fortune 500 understood it. Understood it, that yes, there is a value in what she's bringing. It will take time, but then that amount of waiting period was there with them, because they themselves have grown to that level after a long time.
Brilliant.
So I think this was the journey which brought today to speak about it. But yes, it has gone through a lot of steps and stages.
I think, again, the word you used, which is persistence and resilience, it's the word. There's no other word to match this. Because even yesterday, I was reading a LinkedIn article where someone was talking about why women startup, especially in deep tech startups, are still not getting funded, especially in women's health and related areas. And only around, less than 2% of the entire funding in health or R&D actually is being given to women's health startups, etc. So looking back, I think you're talking again about 10 years back, and I'm pretty sure the scenario would have been even more bleak at that time. And really, hats off again to you for working towards and persisting towards. And that actually brings me to the question, why so much of persistence? Is it just that, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, I have to make my company win or successful, versus is it that I have a solution for a big problem and I want this to go out into the market? What was that actual motivating factor?
The motivating factor was the later part. That why, if this research should not die on the bench. This research should be done out there in the market, and to see a product. And in fact, believe me, I started my company because I came from a middle class family and whatnot. I started my company as a service provider. Initially, I used to bring projects from abroad. I used to get it done, because when you were, especially if you wanted to take a loan of such high value, then you had to return it back also, month on month. And here we are taking the loan to do some research, which will come out or not, we didn't know. So basically, I started I did multiple things at that point as a researcher, as a business owner. And so I was doing all the services and whatnot and bringing in money and good projects, good top line, good profits. Everything was happening with one focus, that this research should not stop. If we are able to crack this. And the reason was, when the probiotics are temperature dependent, the things which don't happen is, number one, applications are very less. Why? Because you can't put it in. Today I make gummies out of it. Today I make chocolates and cookies and bread also out of probiotics. But people who were lactose intolerant did not have a way to take these probiotics, because everything was in the dairy products. Right? So, that is another thing which used to make me feel that, okay, there is a need for bringing this product outside, because without this particular technology, one, the stability of the product is not there. Second, that it had low applications. Third, everything depended on cold chain, which was an extra cost to the product. And fourth, even if you did encapsulation, there is a process added. Means chemicals are added to it. Right. That thing has to go inside your stomach. That process has to open up so that the gut bacteria is released and which will go into your intestine. So that means one process is added, again the cost increases, plus the very possibility of these microbes will be alive or not by the time they reach intestine was not sure. So these all were the problems or the market pain of probiotics, which are not temperature stable. Now, once we make them,
Dr. Shri, let me just interrupt you there for the viewers and audience of this podcast who are still figuring out what do you mean by cold chain dependency, etc. Before that, let's take a one step back and help us understand why this gut health and why probiotics and what is the relevance of probiotics in ensuring a good gut health. Again, let's talk about women at a later stage, but generally give us an overview and how your solution became that groundbreaking patented product later.
Okay. So today, let us go one step behind, okay, as you rightly said. So what are probiotics? Up till now, we have been, this is a very relatively new science. 2008, 9, or maybe around 12, 13 is when actually it took over. It started, people started to invest in this science. The science said that you had bacteria. Up till now, for us, bacteria were bad things, right? We said, okay, bacteria are not for us. It's you. Basically, you should stay away because they make you sick. Very recently, we figured out that actually your system has good bacteria. Now, what is good bacteria? Where did this comes from? And why intestine? And how this whole system is, you are talking about some abstract science you are talking. Well, simple example I'll give you. If you had a bad gut for one reason or the other, right? That day, if you had a constipation or diarrhea, your energies are low. Yes. Your decisions are not right. And that thereby affecting your leadership. You had, don't go up to leadership, just take it only to yourself as a person, as a human being. And
as a functional person.
Yeah. And if you were to have some stress means real stress. Either you are not hungry, you don't feel like eating, or you go on binge eating. You don't understand where to stop because that stress is too high on you. Yeah. That means this gut has something to do with how you take decisions, how you take things. And that is now understood as gut-brain axis. We'll come to it in a little later. Yeah. Okay, I'm just explaining the basics of these good bacteria. So these good bacteria, basically, when you are born with a sterile gut. It's the way you are brought into this world. And it's the way that you into this world, you make big sound, open your lungs, that too in hospital environment, all the bacteria go inside. And if you remember, kids have jaundice in the first 2-3 days. That is called hospital yellow fever or jaundice. Not yellow fever is not right word. Jaundice actually. That comes only in the first 2-3 days. And the first 6 months, your mother is feeding you every 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours or whatnot. But she's not feeding you even water. Because water brings in the bad bacteria. So this is where the first line of your immunity starts. Now, why that is important? Bad gut, low immunity, infection in not treated, inflammation not treated, lifestyle disease, or even cancer trigger. So that much amount of importance is there for these gut bacteria. So first 6 months, it's only your mother's milk and the first set of bacteria go and adhere in your gut. After 6 months, your mother would have weaned you off milk and you get that first, rice and curd in India, or dal ka pani we say. Those stuff we give to the children, the next set of bacteria are done. And in fact, in India, when you finish that first 6 months, there is a function that we do that the critical part of your life is over. And now you are taking the next step. And that is called Anaprasham here. But nevertheless, that is where we celebrate it only because the child would have taken off that critical path. And for the life. And now we feed ourselves with good bacteria, so on and so forth, that as an adult, you have 1.38 billion bacteria in your gut. So these bacteria make your first line of defense. And these bacteria also communicate with your brain at 1/100th of a nanosecond. So that's how you take this. Some days you get up in the morning, doctor, and you simply say that, the world is under my feet. Today you tell me what, and I'll finish everything. Right? Some days you get up in the morning.
Some days. And the other days, it's the opposite.
And the other days you say, God knows what happened to me, or whose face did I see, or I woke up from the wrong side of the bed because today nothing is happening. And if you would just go back the night before, what you ate, and look into it, why this lethargy, procrastination, and why this decision making is becoming slow for you, what food you intake the night before, you will understand that these gut bacteria play a major role in your life.
Wow. So this is what you mentioned earlier about the gut-brain connection and something called the psychobiotics, right? Is that what we are talking here?
Exactly. Not exactly. Psychobiotics are special probiotics to help people deal with mental health issues.
Oh, okay.
But what I spoke to you just now is just the general gut health. It is for everybody, whether you had anxiety, depression, and different other issues. This is something that is natural to every single person.
Okay. So for any person, whoever here in this planet, they are born and they have certain amounts of good bacteria in their gut, which actually is developed as they grow as a baby, and the exposure that they get and the different kinds of food that we eat over a period of time. The good bacteria gets probably replaced with the bad bacteria because of the bad food that we eat, right? So obviously the next question is, how do we change this? Like, how do we handle this situation?
So what happens is in your gut, if everything goes good, your gut has 85% good bacteria and 15% you will have bad bacteria, irrespective of what.
Yes.
Now, if you have more bad bacteria and less of good bacteria because of whatever varied reasons, there are lots of reasons because of which you can have, there are two ways of solving it. One, you take antibiotics because then obviously you have symptoms which have come either in form of fever, in form of rash, in form of something or the other that you will find yourself into. And so your doctors will prescribe and say, hey, you want to take antibiotics so that bad bacteria can come down because you're suffering. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, antibiotic is just like a bullet out of a gun. Mm. It doesn't identify good or bad. Bacteria is bacteria for antibiotic. It would kill everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you have these problems, the other option for you to actually make it better or get yourself back into action is by taking probiotics or good bacteria and increasing the number again to 85% so that the bad bacteria will be starving for food and it will go off. So these good bacteria, they have different groups and they actually communicate with each other by showing up some kind of light fluorescence. Some blue light will be shown for one set of bacteria and red light will be shown for one set of bacteria. Now, what do these bacteria eat? Do they eat the food we eat? No, not at all. What happens is when you are having food, and that's why the doctors nowadays are insisting that eat fibers, because the food that you eat, these bacteria do not go and digest the food, but they help take out the enzymes and nutrients and vitamins and all what else comes out. They take all these things, put in different places in the cell and let the body nourish with the proteins, with the carbs, with the vitamins, minerals and everything. But the wasted part is the fiber which is coming, which is not digested by you as a human because you do not have an enzyme called cellulase in your body. Cellulase enzymes which are missed out in your body, human body don't create those enzymes. And that is what, when so much of fiber would be there, then that becomes the food for the bacteria. Okay. So every 14 hours, it not only helps you digest your food, but also finds its food and eats it. And one mother cell will become two daughter cells. 2 will become 4, 4 will become 8, 8 will become 16, 32, and so on and so forth. And that's how you have so many 1.38 trillion out there. So if you are low on fiber, you will see low of simple, it could be that the good bacteria would start to deplete because they are not getting food to eat. So mother cell cannot become 2 cells, right? So they start to deplete. And that's how when you go low on those, the bad bacteria invade your system. But through COVID, I realized that there are some populations which fared very well during COVID only for one reason, because they had a very strong heterogeneity of bacteria. So we not only have 1.38 trillion here in India, but we also have 7,000 plus species. That is the reason why most of the population, especially outside the country, not survive COVID so beautifully as what we survived. And the reason was they do not have that many different types of bacteria to fight the virus, which was attacking their bodies and which was multiplying fast and which was putting all the toxins in their bodies. And that's why the killer cells could not help them. So during COVID, we realized that it is some of the both the African and Indian populations fared well because we had heterogeneity of bacteria in our system. In fact, I make fun of it also and saying, so if you have survived COVID in India, it is thankful to Almighty. And the next one is that Pani Puri wala on the road who puts his hand inside and creates a whole bunch of bacteria for you, because no amount of sterilization helped during COVID. It is more heterogeneous bacteria actually. That's how we realized it.
Hello, powerful woman. Yes, I meant you. I'm Dr. Chandravadana, or you can call me Dr. CV, founder of SheSight Global Media and SheSight Magazine. I got your email ID because you signed up on one of our advertisements on Facebook. I'm pretty sure you are interested or you are aware of SheSight Magazine and what we have been doing all these years. In the past 5 years, I personally have coached and mentored and empowered several thousands of women across India and across the globe. And one thing what I've noticed is that women doesn't need to be empowered more. I think we are sort of really capable of handling ourselves. What we need is visibility, recognition, and also the strength and courage to handle situations with peer support. And that exactly is the reason why I decided to launch the ShePower Global Community. Imagine if thousands of women across the globe are there to cheer you whenever you do something great. You might be wondering, what's new about this club and community? I'm part of so many Facebook group and other groups out there. Ladies club, this, that. Well, let me make it very clear. This is a group of growth mindseted, powerful women who want to grow in their life and make an impact in their society in a different manner. Whatever field you are, whatever profession you are, whichever role you are undertaking in your life, I believe that every woman, or every person for that matter, has a calling and a capability to deliver full potential. Our club operates based on the 7 powerful pillars of life. Different aspects that every woman needs in order to flourish in all aspects of her life. And we have regular conversations, networking meetups, and of course, challenges that makes this possible. Like the social media noise, this is a highly curated, exclusive club for women. And only women with that growth mindset are allowed here. Our members benefit in different ways. It's not just the opportunity to connect and interact with other global powerful women. It's also the opportunity to promote your personal brand, promote your business, and also get visibility, get recognized, get noticed for all the work that you do. Most of our SheSight Club members get featured on our global magazine within 1 month of signing up. Isn't that cool? All right. If you are ready to invest on yourself and join the club of powerful women across the globe, come join me at SheSight Club. I have so many questions on different angles, but when you said about this heterogeneity and the importance of that in cold countries versus hot country, there's so many things in there. But I'm also curious to understand, is there any gender difference that you have found in your research so far, where do women have anything extra or less, or how is there a gender difference at all in this gut health?
Not a gender difference, but definitely for the number of bacteria or the types of bacteria. Mm-hmm. But somewhere women are able to inherently take stress much better way than the men. Because see, in India, I'm sure, Dr. Vandana, you have seen, we do a lot of fasting.
Yes.
Men are not the people who want to fast. When we fast, we are cleaning our systems automatically. Okay. And these good bacteria are preserved more. Mm. That allows you to take the gut-brain axis much, much more stronger. All these good chemicals, the serotonin and the dopamine, are made in the gut. And from there, the serotonin goes to the brain. Women are inherently are able to take more of serotonin. One, they make it. And second is because right from the old times, of course, now we don't do that much. But during my grandmother's time, I saw her working physically also more harder. And that amounts to creation of a lot of good chemicals, which allows it to be in abundance so that they are able to take care of the stress. So I have seen that even during COVID, the men, if they were subjected to very high cytokinin stress, they collapsed faster. Mm-hmm. The woman fought it. So inherently, I think there is more to it. I don't have scientific base right now to claim anything, but definitely these are my just observations where I see that these gut bacteria behave much differently in a lady compared to a man.
Wow, that says a lot. Okay, so you mean to say that it is our gut health that is giving us the resilience and the power to navigate the stress, the inherent stress we are bound in all kinds. Is that what we spoke earlier about, the gut-brain connection? So can we just say that as women, we tend to have better gut health, so our stress resilience is better, right? So again, in that case, I obviously have the next question, which is for women who are navigating perimenopause and similar hormonal changes, and let's say, stressful job, people who are in high leadership positions and similar roles, how can they, it should be the reverse, right? So in that case, you should be able to manage your gut health so that you can navigate this better. Am I right? The reverse.
Wow. What happens is, did you even know when your grandmother had a menopause or mother had a menopause compared to what we are hearing these days? I did not know when my mother went through it. Mm. I did not know, of course, I need the out of question, but at least mother, I did not see her going through it. So when menopause was being expressed, in the last 2-3 years, it has been quite openly being expressed.
Openly talking about, yes.
And it's not just about India, it's all over the world.
Yeah.
So people have started to talk that there is a problem called menopause. Okay. Mm. Until then, nobody was talking. At least in wherever I went, I did not hear it. In fact,
was it because the problem didn't exist, or was it because of the general cultural stereotyping or conditioning that, okay, we should not be talking about our health issues, especially something related to your fertility, right? So
I think it is both.
Yeah.
Yes, it was not a subject to be discussed. Mm. But today, why people are discussing is because the problem has become really serious. Mm. And the reason why it has become serious is because the food what we are eating is devoid of nutrition to up to 40 to 45%.
Oh my
That
God.
small amount of vitamin B7, which would allow me to have hairs on my head, is not available. It is 30 micrograms of vitamin B7, which I require in my body every single day, is not available from the food that we are eating. Why is it so? We have depleted the soil by using of fertilizers, insecticide, pesticides, and every single thing. We have depleted the air, and from gut, all the problems is starting. So when they are going through gut issues, the bloating and indigestibility, whatever the digestion problem, they don't know what to look at. Added to it is the hormonal changes, which is bringing different kinds of problems for them. Third thing is estrogen goes down, so that's why the skin is sagging. The look and feel which a lady would take pride in talking about, that is missing. The confidence goes dwindles every day, and anxiety is increasing. The palpitations are increasing. All this used to be taken care of by the food we used to eat when few years back. But last 10 to 12 years, we have depleted the food out of 40 to 45% of nutrition, and that's why today menopause has become a stage which is more troublesome for a woman, and especially women, if they are in leading a business or they are in leadership roles, it becomes
very difficult. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because I think for me as well, personally, I'm navigating through this perimenopause where I'm also undergoing a lot of time poor situation and dealing with hormonal changes, stress, and whatnot. So help me, for someone like me, what are the top 3 things that I can do to improve my gut health if I want to do starting tomorrow onwards?
First and foremost, please make sure that you have food which is full of fibers. Now, when I say that fibers, it's a very generic term. Try and eat some millets. Millet has very good, they are enriched in not only vitamins, minerals, as well as fibers, but they're easy to digest, and that becomes the food for your good bacteria.
Perfect.
So that is the first one. Take supplements. Do not hesitate in taking supplements. It's not multivitamins. It is specific. Now you get supplements. Most important, which nobody is talking about, is vitamin D3 needs to be taken for calcium depletion from your body during perimenopause. And that doesn't happen until you have vitamin D3 mixed with vitamin K2. When you take vitamin D3 and K2 is when that thing, actually the calcium is directed towards the bones. Otherwise, there are many places in your body that calcium can be used. So during osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, which is the biggest thing, the calcium depletion, which comes during menopause, and then after that, women go through a very, very joint inflammations, rheumatic arthritis. There are lots of things which will go on because of that. So first is the fiber. Can take a couple of these supplements which are specific to a condition. But very important part is the calcium depletion, which is happening in your body during this time. You should be taking vitamin D3 and K2 supplement. Do not take vitamin D3 supplements until you have checked your vitamin D3 through blood work, because excess of vitamin D3, that's the only one thing which I don't allow people to take, that is toxic. So it's not like you just open a bottle of vitamins and minerals and start to push it inside and thinking that everything will work. No, it doesn't work.
I think you came to a very important point, which is actually the awareness regarding all of this, and especially for women, to even think about your health as a priority and to undergo preventive health checkups or blood routine. How many women do a 6-month blood routine? So these are things which we need to actually talk more about, is what I gathered from this conversation. But again, coming back to the supplements point, I mean, of course, you are an expert in probiotics. How do we understand quality of supplements, right? So there's like 10,000 supplements. I live in Melbourne. Over here, if you go to any chemist, get 10,000 supplements listed on the floor. It's like, okay, there is everything there, but how do I know what is of good quality? Everyone says I have, this is the best magnesium, this is magnesium, this is K, which is B, whatever. But how can we verify that? Is there anything that we can do?
Obviously, each product is good or bad depending on where it is and how it is. A blanket rule to any of this, it should be absorbable in your system.
Okay.
It has to come either from a vegan source or from a plant source. So vitamin D3, I'll take that example. Generally, vitamin D3, we take 30,000 units or 60,000 units. And every month you have to take it if you're low on vitamin D3. And everybody is low on vitamin D3 because we don't go outside. Yeah, at least in India, we didn't see so much of it because sun was always available to us. But we stopped going outside, and COVID was one of the reasons when we restricted ourselves. And now after COVID, nobody wants to go from ACs in the house to ACs in the car to ACs in the offices to the malls, back to the same thing. We do not see sun for longer times, though, which is available freely and most happily, at least in temperate zones.
Yes.
But we don't do that. We have now created another problem for ourselves because of that. And that's why after taking 60,000 units, you have to keep coming back to take the shots because the body is not absorbing it. the same one which you take in a vegan form, that is from any of the vegetarian base, are the vitamin D3, which will absorb in your body. It absorbs in your body, and hardly in less than 2 or 3 months, you will see yourself vitamin D3 compliant, or it will be good in amount. You see so many products out there. Look for vegan, look for plant-based.
Okay.
That is natural to your life. And when it is natural, it will absorb.
Good. That's definitely a handy tool. All right, especially because I know this is like a huge topic to talk about. There's lots more. However, due to time constraint, I'm really curious to know what is that exciting thing or the most exciting thing that is happening right now in probiotics research or generally in gut health or longevity. And if you also can touch upon the status of women and women's health in that domain, that would be great.
Sure. So as I said, we made these temperature stable probiotics. Hey, so that brought in a lot of things. Obviously, now applications are, people are confused as to which probiotics is doing good and which probiotics is not. People do not understand that, and it's only, even I didn't. It's only over the years of experience has told me. Probiotics in your body. Just give me another small question to you. 4 people eating the same food in your house, does it digest the same way?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because sometimes, like, if, for example, last week I ate some seafood and I had a seafood allergy basically, and I was in the bathroom, whereas the rest of the 3 people in my household who ate it, they didn't have anything.
So the answer lies there.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm trying to, as I said, there is a lot of data, but the intelligence of that data is what is important. Intelligence out of that data is important. So with this incident that happened, Vandana, if I can tell you why it happened, is your gut is just like your thumb impression. It is so much. It's so much unique that you cannot, just because there is a product out there which says probiotic, you will take it and you will feel good about it. It doesn't happen that way. More and more. So new areas in probiotic that are coming up, which is going to be very interesting and good, both as an industry, but also it is creating a lot of opportunities, as I see. But for few people, they say, hey, you know what, for each person creating that product is going to be difficult, which I understand. But personalization in nutrition is going to be the next big thing. For gut health, what we have done here, and right now we do it in India, practice in India, is we have created something called a kit, and that is gut microbiome analysis.
Okay.
So we take the stool samples, we process it, we see all the bacteria that are there, we remove, we isolate them, take that, put it on AI to see out of these 7,000 species, which are the ones totally depleted out of your body, and we help them to put those bacteria back into the gut.
Perfect.
For 90 days, we have to make sure that they eat a particular type of food. Why? And it's not very difficult. It's very easily available. But why? Because each bacteria requires a different fiber to adhere in the system. Just because you are there in Melbourne, even though you are an Indian, your gut bacteria would be different than what it is when you are in India.
Yes, 100%, I guess so.
So because the food what you are eating is the reason how your bacteria would increase in numbers.
Yeah.
For women health,
yeah,
we have even one step further, especially when people are going through menopausal health. We have something called vaginal microbiome analysis, apart from the gut health.
Wow.
Now that tells me, so a lady who is sitting in US has only 4 good bacteria in her vaginal microbiome. Only 4. Whereas here, in this temperate zone, we have somewhere around 15 to 17. So when they go through E. coli infection, UTI, or they go through bacterial vaginosis infection, the treatment is totally different. So this is an opportunity, me as an entrepreneur, because every region can be now mapped and I can make 50 other new products.
Wow. I think that is a crucial input that you have given right now, because as you said earlier, okay, we can take generic supplements like vitamin D or, omega-3, etc. But when it comes to understanding your exact problem and then finding or giving the exact molecule that can solve that problem, I think the precision medicine or the precision nutrition is definitely something that's going to impact a lot of people. And help us understand, your company is also working in this domain. Am I right? That's what you're...
We do have... Yeah, so gut microbiome testing we do, and the report is of literally 46 pages, wherein not only that I explain you which gut bacteria are missing from your system or which bad bacteria are in your system. Apart from that, it helps me to understand which are the postbiotics it is creating, that is called as short chain fatty acids, or how much of vitamins is being made in your body, vitamin B2 to B12, as well as from A to vitamin B7 and other things. It also helps me to understand how much of neurotransmitters are there in your body. If that happy chemical is not there, I can tell you that, okay, if you're not going to take this particular fiber and particular bacteria, you are going to see yourselves going in anxiety and depression. also helps me to tell you how many antibiotics you have already gotten resistant to. And how is your recovery and potential of that particular thing. Same case in vaginal microbiome, when especially women go through menopause, we do a lot of these testings because estrogen comes down and there is a dryness in the gynae area of woman, and that doesn't allow the woman to be in a very good state. So we do that to specifically help her.
Oh my God. So this I know this conversation can go for hours because I'm so interested in this domain to learn more and to do things more. I'm personally trying to launch a couple of ventures in the domain of women's health. So there's definitely a lot to do, as you rightly said, and this is a problem which I've been thinking myself. Whenever I go to the doctor here, they would easily prescribe. For example, when I was having this perimenopause symptom, the easiest thing that the doctor prescribed was to take the oral contraceptive pill. I didn't want to do that, and then I didn't do that. Instead, I focused on getting into physical activity, doing exercise, going to the gym, and taking good food and taking care of myself. So at that time, I used to think, instead of taking the generic supplements, wish I knew exactly what does my body need, and based on that, if I'm able to supplement, if I'm able to help my body, I would be happier. And that's exactly what we are talking today, and I'm really excited to continue the conversation in future with you. But for now, just because of our time constraint for this podcast, Dr. Shri, as a closing message, what is that thing you would like to share to our audience, specifically women? And because you are an expert in this domain of two things. One, I would say you are an expert as an entrepreneur, but along with that, you are an expert in this domain of probiotics. What is that one message that you would like to give to our audience?
So first and foremost, and I work a lot with women entrepreneurs or women scientists who want to become entrepreneurs. Okay, part of multiple organizations, multiple platforms where we are helping women in STEM. So that helps me to go to colleges, schools, and talk to them. First and foremost, there couldn't be a better time to be born in this era.
Yeah.
Second, there couldn't be a better time for you to go and explore what you can do and what you cannot. Not everything you will be able to do. So there couldn't be a better time doing that. Yeah. Especially for women scientists, especially for women who are enthusiastic of creating something. Marriage could be a part of life, but marriage cannot be a life. But perseverance, if you are strong enough, we as a species are strong.
Yes.
And so if we are so strong, the only one thing which will help you to navigate through all the odds is perseverance. That has been my district. Good days, bad days, ugly days, horrible days, best days. Every single morning, I am there because these people, they believe in me. This is the best time in the world. Wherever you go, they are helping women entrepreneurs. The government is doing a lot for women entrepreneurs. And in fact, we have here in India, there is a ministry called MSME, that is Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises Ministry. And the number of, they have different schemes to help women entrepreneurs. I've changed that name to MSME to Money Saved is Money Earned. People are wanting women to get out and do things because they feel that they can create more impactful ventures. And one woman, if she's given that much of confidence, she changes the whole village.
Correct. I agree.
So at this point, if anything, I would like to insist for the women, perseverance. If you have perseverance, there's no reason for you to say that it is not going to work. Second thing is, understand this entrepreneurship is not gender preferred. Just because you're a woman, nothing will be served on table. You have to work equally hard, in fact, more harder. And I keep repeating this in many of my conversations. I have to worry about the morning coffee that we make for us and for the family. Yeah. And we also have to worry about evening curd that we set in, at least in India, and the birthdays and the family festivals and the social obligations. Yeah. So we are a very strong, mentally strong species. I don't see any reason why we should be saying that we need help. I think it's the other gender which needs help.
I agree that. With that positive note, I have to really once again thank you for your time as well as your inspiring words. More than words, I think your life and your story and what you are standing for today definitely will inspire all the audience who are listening to our podcast today, watching the podcast today. And I really wish you the best in terms of the next few decades or many decades that you're going to be active. That's one thing which is quite sure. I think I've noticed in entrepreneurial women like you and me, we don't retire at any age. So I'm hoping that you're not going to retire anytime soon. So which means there's a lot more things coming out from you and your brain and your positive attitude towards impacting and bringing out the best to the world. So I wish you all the very best, Dr. SHRILAKSHMI. And once again, thank you so much for being part of this SheSight, ShePowered podcast series. And I really look forward to connecting with you again when you have the next breakthrough milestone that you are ready with. Let's talk more. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Absolutely right. I mean, I exited from Triphase and created 2 more companies right now. sit on multiple boards as independent director. So yes, I don't see myself retiring. You're really right about it, and look forward to engaging with you on a more meaningful way and creating a cohort of like-minded women entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll make that impact and that change.
Hello, everyone. Before you move on to the next video, I have a request to make. If you like this video and this podcast, if you gained some valuable information out of this video, I would request you to click on the subscribe button as well as follow us on our social media pages. The links are given in our description. Also, do sign up to our website, www.shesightmag.com. We have amazing women stories as well as various women initiatives that are getting launched in the coming months. I'll see you there.